Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, Meditations. It's a classic.
It's a book that's been offering wisdom for centuries, so we figured it was time for a deep dive.
What's fascinating about Meditations is that it wasn't meant to be a published masterpiece.
Oh, really?
It's more like we're peeking into Aurelius's personal journal, his private thoughts and reflection.
During his reign as Roman emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're not talking about some ivory tower philosopher.
Nope.
This is a guy who ruled one of the most powerful empires in history.
Right.
Dealing with constant wars and political turmoil.
And he's jotting down these incredibly insightful notes to himself.
Yeah, like, wow. It's almost like a...
That's what makes it so compelling.
Man.
It's not just theoretical philosophy.
Right.
It's the lived experience of a man trying to navigate immense challenges.
While striving for inner peace.
And virtue.
So where do we begin unpacking this treasure trove of wisdom?
Well, book one of Meditations is a great starting point.
Okay.
It's almost like a gratitude journal.
It's a gratitude journal.
Where Aurelius expresses his appreciation for the people who shaped his thinking and character.
A gratitude journal from a Roman emperor.
He specifically mentions individuals like Rusticus, his father, and Fronto.
Right.
He credits Rusticus for introducing him to Stoicism and the importance of self-improvement and living in alignment with nature.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So from the very beginning, we see this emphasis on personal growth.
Right.
And understanding our place in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly.
What about his father? What lessons did he learn from him?
Aurelius deeply admired his father's humility, diligence, and ability to make rational decisions.
Even under pressure?
Even under pressure, yeah.
He saw these qualities as essential for leadership and a virtuous life.
It makes sense that those traits would be valuable for an emperor.
Makes sense.
Right.
What about Fronto? He was quite a prominent figure in Roman society, wasn't he?
Yes. Fronto was a renowned orator. And teacher. He mentored Aurelius on leadership. Taught him how to handle criticism, and warned him about the dangers of power.
And ego.
You can really see how these lessons shaped Aurelius's approach to ruling.
It's fascinating to see how these individuals, each with their own unique strengths and values, contributed to the foundation of Aurelius's philosophy.
Right.
It's a reminder that we're all shaped by the people we encounter in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how does this connect to us listening in 2025? Why should we care who influenced a Roman emperor nearly 2,000 years ago?
Because understanding the roots of Aurelius's thinking helps us appreciate the depth and authenticity of Meditations. It wasn't just a collection of abstract ideas. It was the culmination of a life shaped by mentors, experiences, and a deep desire to live virtuously.
It's like understanding the backstory of a great artist.
Yes. Exactly.
Or musician.
It gives us a richer appreciation for their work.
Yeah.
And in the case of Marcus Aurelius, that work is a profound exploration of human nature, resilience, and the pursuit of a meaningful life.
It is.
It really is. And one of the key frameworks he used to navigate life's complexities was Stoic philosophy.
Right. Meditations is full of Stoic wisdom, but
it is.
For those of us who aren't ancient philosophy experts, could you give us a crash course on what Stoicism is all about?
Sure. Stoicism is a philosophy that emphasizes virtue, reason, and living in harmony with nature.
So it's about having a sense of inner peace, even when the world around you feels chaotic.
You could say that.
I could see how that would be appealing to a Roman emperor.
Right.
Or anyone really facing tough situations.
And it's incredibly relevant for us today. Think about all the things we stress over. Traffic, deadlines, things people say on social media. Stoicism gives you tools to deal with that.
I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. What are some of the core principles of Stoicism that we see in Meditations?
One of the most fundamental principles is the idea of focusing on what you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, your reactions.
So instead of getting worked up about things we can't change. Like the weather or other people's opinions.
Exactly.
Stoicism tells us to focus on our own response.
Aurelius repeatedly reminds himself and us that our inner world is the one domain we have true power over. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength."
That's powerful. It's a reminder that we always have a choice in how we perceive and react to the world around us. But isn't there a danger of becoming passive if we just accept everything?
That's a great question.
How do we reconcile that with taking action to improve our lives.
Stoicism isn't about passive resignation. It's about discerning between what we can change and what we can't.
And once we've accepted what's beyond our control, we can then focus our energy on making positive changes where we can...
That's the idea.
So it's about choosing our battles wisely.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
What else does Aurelius have to say about navigating challenges?
He often talks about the importance of living in accordance with nature.
Okay, hold on. When you say nature, are we talking about ditching our phones and heading for the wilderness?
Right.
Because I'm not sure I'm ready for that level of stoicism.
That's a common misconception.
Okay.
In Stoicism, living in accordance with nature has a broader meaning.
Okay.
It's about understanding the natural order of the universe and aligning ourselves with it.
So it's less about literally living in the woods.
Right.
And more about understanding our place in the universe and acting accordingly.
Precisely. For Aurelius, this meant fulfilling his duties as emperor with integrity and wisdom.
Understanding that both challenges and triumphs were part of the natural flow of life.
Exactly.
So playing our part, whatever that may be, and doing it to the best of our ability.
Yes.
Even when things get tough.
And recognizing that obstacles and setbacks are inevitable.
It's about focusing on what we can control, our effort, our intentions, our responses, and letting go of the need to control everything else.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about having a sense of perspective.
Yes.
And purpose, even when things don't go our way.
Yes.
But what about happiness? Where does that fit into the Stoic equation? It seems like they were all about virtue and duty, not necessarily joy and pleasure.
You've hit on a key point. For Stoics, virtue is the highest good.
Okay.
Aurelius believed that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external circumstances, but from living a virtuous life, characterized by wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control.
So it's about aligning your actions with your values and finding contentment in knowing that you're living a principled life. That's pretty radical even today.
It is.
When we're constantly bombarded with messages about what should make us happy.
Yes.
Buy this, achieve that, look like this.
It is a challenge to embrace this idea in our current culture.
Yeah.
But that's what makes meditations so thought-provoking.
Right.
It invites us to question our assumptions about what truly matters.
And to find lasting satisfaction in living a life of purpose and integrity.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got these core Stoic principles.
Yeah.
Focus on what you can control, accept what you can't, live in accordance with nature, and prioritize virtue above all else.
Yeah.
How did Aurelius actually apply these principles in his own life? Do we see specific examples of this in Meditations?
Oh, absolutely. Meditations is full of practical wisdom and reflections on how to implement these principles.
Let's hear a few passages that illustrate this. I'm eager to see how these ideas translate into real-life situations.
Let's start with a passage from Book 2 that speaks directly to the struggle we all face with procrastination.
Okay.
Aurelius writes, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one."
Wow. That's straight to the point. It's like he's saying, stop overthinking it and just do the right thing.
Exactly. He's urging us to stop delaying.
Yeah.
And to align our actions with our values. He's reminding us that we have the power to choose how we respond to challenges.
Right.
And that procrastination often stems from fear or a lack of clarity about our priorities.
It's a powerful reminder that action is key.
Okay.
Great. What else stands out?
There's another passage from Book 4 that I find incredibly insightful.
Okay.
The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it.
Whoa, that one is deep. It's about the power of our mindset, right?
Absolutely. Aurelius is highlighting the Stoic belief that our perceptions shape our reality. He's not advocating for naive optimism, but rather for a mindful awareness of how our thoughts influence our experiences. We can choose to focus on the negative, or we can choose to look for opportunities for growth and learning.
Even in difficult circumstances.
Yes.
So even when we face challenges, we have the power to choose how we interpret them and how we let them affect us. It's a reminder that we're not just passive recipients of fate, but active participants in creating our own reality.
Exactly. And that realization is incredibly empowering.
It is.
It gives us agency, even in the face of adversity.
I love that. What else has Aurelius got for us?
Well, there's a passage from Book 7 that offers a potent antidote to anger.
Okay.
And resentment. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury.
Oh, that's a good one to remember when dealing with difficult people.
It is.
It's about rising above the pettiness and choosing a higher path.
Aurelius is reminding us that we can't control how others behave.
Right.
But we can control how we react.
Mm.
He's encouraging us to break the cycle of negativity and to focus on our own personal growth.
Instead of getting caught up in retaliation, it's a reminder that we always have a choice in how we respond to situations.
Yeah.
And sometimes the most powerful choice is to choose kindness and understanding.
It is.
Even when it's hard.
I think that's a beautiful takeaway. Aurelius reminds us that true strength lies in maintaining our integrity and composure.
Even when provoked.
Even when provoked.
These passages are so insightful, and they really bring Stoicism to life.
They do.
They show us how these principles can be applied to real-world challenges, from procrastination to dealing with difficult people. It's like Aurelius is giving us a toolkit for navigating life with more wisdom and resilience.
And the beauty of it is that these insights are just as relevant today as they were nearly 2,000 years ago.
Right.
Human nature hasn't really changed all that much.
It's amazing to think that we can still find guidance and inspiration in the words of a Roman emperor grappling with his own set of challenges.
It is.
But there's one more twist I want to explore before we wrap up. You mentioned earlier that there are some surprising connections between Stoicism and early Christianity. How did these two seemingly different worldviews intersect in Aurelius's time?
What's fascinating is that Stoicism was already a prominent philosophical force in the Roman Empire during the rise of Christianity.
So it was already kind of woven into the cultural fabric.
Exactly. And there are some interesting points of convergence between Stoic thought and early Christian teachings. Both emphasize self-control, humility, and service to others. They also shared the idea of living in accordance with a higher power or divine will, though they might have conceived of that power differently.
So even though Stoicism isn't a religion in the traditional sense, he had some core ideas that resonated with early Christians.
Yes. And remember, this was a time of great social and spiritual upheaval. Many people were seeking meaning and guidance. And both Stoicism and Christianity offered frameworks for understanding the world and living a virtuous life. In fact, some early Christian thinkers even incorporated Stoic ideas into their theology.
It's amazing to think about those historical connections and how ideas can transcend time and cultures.
It is.
It makes meditations even more fascinating.
It does.
Knowing that it was written at this crossroads of philosophical and religious thought.
It certainly adds another layer to our understanding of Aurelius and his writings. And it highlights the enduring power of these ideas, which continue to resonate with people from diverse backgrounds centuries later.
It really is remarkable how these ideas have stood the test of time. So we've explored Marcus Aurelius's life, delved into Stoic philosophy, and even uncovered some unexpected historical connections. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder. Aurelius repeatedly reflects on the impermanence of life. How everything eventually fades away. How can this awareness, this understanding of our own mortality, help us live more fully in the present moment?
That's a profound question, and one that Aurelius gravels with throughout Meditations. He reminds us that everything is in constant flux, that change is the only constant. Recognizing this can be both humbling and liberating.
It makes you think about what truly matters, doesn't it?
It does.
If we know our time is limited, does it motivate us to pursue our passions more fearlessly?
Yeah, I think so.
To appreciate our loved ones more deeply? To make each day count?
Absolutely. When we confront our own mortality, it can help us clarify our priorities and live with greater intention. It can free us from the tyranny of trivial worries and inspire us to focus on what truly brings meaning and joy to our lives.
It's almost like a wake-up call.
It is.
Urging us to savor each experience, to mend broken relationships. To pursue those dreams we've been putting off.
Exactly. It's about embracing the preciousness of life with all its joys and sorrows and making the most of the time we have.
Aurelius also talks about accepting death as a natural part of life, something to be faced with courage and equanimity. It's a powerful concept, but not an easy one to grasp.
It's definitely challenging, but by contemplating our own mortality, we can cultivate a sense of perspective and detachment.
We can learn to let go of our fear of death and focus instead on living a virtuous life.
So it's not about dwelling on death,
No.
but rather using that awareness to fuel a more meaningful and vibrant life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that life is finite.
Okay.
And that every moment is a gift.
That's a beautiful way to think about it. I think we've all had those moments where we get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life.
Right.
And we forget to appreciate the simple things, the people we love, the beauty around us.
It's easy to do.
Aurelius's reflections on mortality can help us shift our perspective and live with more presence and gratitude.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the most enduring legacies of meditations.
Yeah.
Its ability to inspire us to live with greater purpose, clarity, and joy.
Even in the face of life's inevitable challenges.
Exactly.
Well said. And for those of you who are intrigued by these ideas and want to delve deeper into Marcus Aurelius's wisdom, I highly encourage you to explore Meditations for yourself. It's a great book.
It's a book that continues to offer profound insights and guidance.
It does.
For navigating the complexities of human existence, no matter what year it is.
That's true.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into meditations.
It'd be a pleasure.
And we'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.